Hey there. Hello, welcome to Sustainability Saturday. In this video we're going to be talking about pollinator friendly plants for gardens and ways we can manage our gardens differently to make them more pollinator friendly. And we're also going to be talking about the problem of invasive species, ones that we can even find in our garden centres that have extreme impacts on the ecosystems in our country and in many other countries. On the whole, I think people would really love to be doing the right things with this. Lots of people love to plant their gardens with lots of flowers and it seems great, but actually in reality a lot of these insects like bees are visiting species like roses that we have bred specifically to look beautiful, but they don't have as much function to the bees because the bees will go visit, they'll still expend energy trying to collect pollen and nectar, but there won't actually be any pollen and nectar accessible to them. It's very important when you're considering what flowers shall I grow in my garden, you need to be thinking variety. The more the better. Ideally ones that are native to this country. You can research this, it's not too hard to find which ones are right. I'm going to leave a few links in the description below this video leading you to the right plants you could be planting in your garden. Another thing that would be great for gardens is if there was an overall change in our attitudes towards things like weeds, insects, and just an overall view that actually there's a lot of weeds and a lot of insects. They might look weird, they might not be exactly what we want in our garden, they might not be exotic, but they're necessary and they're part of the ecosystem and we can't really just ignore that anymore. Mowing less is an important one. It's important to mow less because this allows the plants to come up and through, allows them to flower, and it allows the pollinators to get the things that they need to get in order to survive. And using pesticides is a big no-no. It is really bad. It doesn't help anybody out really at all. Recently I found out that, I mean it's kind of obvious, but I found out that flea treatment for cats and dogs is effectively just a really concentrated pesticide that is extremely harmful to the environment. And if dogs and cats go swimming in, I mean cats don't really swim much, but if dogs go swimming in the river, then that immediately just washes off them and goes into the ecosystem. So if you're treating your cats and dogs, it's worth looking up environmentally friendly options for this. Another great thing for our gardens in general is to have a little wetland area, so have a little pond in your garden. I think Sam is going to be doing a video on that soon, so very excited to see what he's got going on there. It provides a lot of different habitats for your garden and it will help even some of our pollinators. It's also great to provide nests for bees. You can do this, you can look up little bee hotels. It's a great thing to do with the kids. You can just sort of spend a day making little bee hotels and putting them around the garden, and then next year you can see the progress and see who's come to stay. So one of the biggest problems I was made aware of recently was the fact that there's many invasive species such as Himalayan balsam that can be found and bought in garden centres around the UK. And there's a lot of money that is also then spent on removing these species from different ecosystems. In the case of the Himalayan balsam, it's along riverbanks where they totally outcompete all the natural foliage that would be growing there, causing a lot of problems. They're almost impossible to get rid of because they shoot their seeds out in a ballistic fashion, which is pretty fun when you're a kid, but makes it a nightmare when you're trying to remove it from an ecosystem. I think there needs to be policy changes. I think government needs to review these types of things and clamp down on them, because ultimately they're just going to cost us a lot more money in the future. Places like Australia, New Zealand, if you've ever been there, you'll realise that they're super strict on biosecurity. You go there and they'll wash your boots, they will check that you don't have any fruit or veg, you don't have any fresh things, because they are so paranoid that people will bring in invasive species, basically, seeds on the boots or anything like that, because ecosystems like Australia and New Zealand are isolated and they have extremely unique fauna and flora, and they can't deal with invasive species very well because they've never seen it before in their life and haven't adapted to it. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. If you've enjoyed it, then like, share, let everybody know about it. Thank you very much and have a lovely day.